What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Putback. Missed last week's episode. We apologize. Had some stuff going on with a few people, so we couldn't make it that week. But we are back. Myself and Dovensky this week. Long
Yeah,
time. Welcome back, my man. How you been?
I've been all right. I've been chilling. I've been chilling.
Yes, sir. So there's only two of us today. Before we get into anything, make sure if you haven't already, go follow Stadium Rant, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Coming out with many articles every day. Got the shows coming out too, so plenty on the way from Stadium Rant. Every sport's covered: basketball, football, everything you could want at Stadium Rant. So let's get right into it. We're doing our top five in each position of all time today. This was a very hard list to make,
Yeah,
honestly.
hard.
There's a lot of candidates at every position too. Like there wasn't
Every,
one that was super easy. Do you wanna start with point guards?
yeah, let's start with the point guards.
Let's start with point guards. Alright, cool. So who you got at number? Should we just start at
Let's do number
five?
five. Let's start with
Start at
five.
five. Unless you got like honorable mentions, you want to say?
Mm, if I were to do honorable mentions, because I never thought about that. If I were to
Yeah.
mentions, definitely Chris Paul, Westbrook. I'll have Westbrook in honorable mentions. Now the thing is, Jerry West. I would put him, but I think he's more of like a shooting guard. I think he
I
played.
put him as a two.
I
Yeah.
think he played more shooting guard in his career.
Yeah.
So another honorable mention that I'll have. This one is an underrated one, but I'm gonna put Walt Frazier. Nobody really gives him that much respect, and I
It's
think he
true.
deserves some more respect because he did give New York two championships.
Hmm.
Who else? Who else? I think that's it. I think that's the honorable mentions that I.
Interesting. So Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, not on the list. So I'm interested because I don't have them either. But I'm interested. I just want to see if you missed someone because there's a couple other guys that I don't have on the list too. But who you got at number five?
On number five for point guards, I have Jason Kidd.
Okay, Jason Kidd.
And the reason why I have Jason Kidd above like guys like Westbrook and Chris Paul is that championship in 2011. And even though like he didn't he wasn't like the Jason Kidd we knew in the early 2000s, even though I'm not that old, so I don't even remember him. But like he was just so good in the early 2000s, but he still contributed to that 2011 championship. And that's something that Chris Paul and Westbrook haven't done. And even though Westbrook has a finals appearance and Chris Paul has a finals appearance, they didn't win it all. So I'm giving the edge to Jason Kidd just mainly because of that championship.
Okay, yeah, can't argue with a champion. It's definitely a valid take. I'll go for my honorable mentions real quick as well. Jason Kidd was in my honorable mentions, as well as Russ CP, and there was one other guy I had to leave off that I didn't want to, but I left Isaiah Thomas off the
Oh,
list too. Yeah, so that hurt because I do like Isaiah, but he didn't make my list. But definitely those four guys are like the top honorable mentions. And at number five, I have John Stockton.
mm,
All-time leader in assists, all-time leader in points, two of the more unbreakable records that we have in the NBA. At least as of now, I think the closest guy to Stockton is still like
Chris
over.
Paul.
I think
Either
he's still like 2,000 assists away,
yeah, I think Chris Paul is second place or third place.
which is nuts.
Yeah,
That's a record. Like you'd have to average like 15 assists for like 10 straight years, and then still average like
you
between
need yeah you
and
need like
12.
12 to 15 assists like consistently.
Yeah, because I think through his career he averaged 10 and a half, and he played 19 seasons.
Yeah,
Like that is ridiculous. So, and then his steals record too is he's I think 300 steals or so more than second place.
yeah.
Again, the closest active guys Chris Paul, and LeBron, who are on the verge of retirement and they're not really close, so they're not going to get it. So
Yeah, LeBron is sixth place or fifth place on that
something like
list.
that. Yeah. So yeah, John Stockton obviously didn't win a championship. Run into the Bulls a few times with MJ, of course. But they were a top quality team all through the 90s. Um, Unfortunately, his teammate, we don't like to talk about him, but those two made one of the best pairings in the NBA history, really, in their prime. But they couldn't get it done. They made the finals a few times, lost to the Bulls. So I couldn't put him any higher than 5 just because he doesn't have that championship.
Yeah.
Uh, and he also doesn't have an MVP either. Also, everyone watching, if you disagree with something or you want to, write down in the comments, I'll make sure to put it up. We'll talk about it. So yeah, number 5, John Stockton. So
Honestly, I feel like John Stockton is overrated in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because yeah, he does have 15,000 assists, but you also have to realize that his teammate was at one point like third place all time in scoring or second place all time in scoring. Not to
mhm,
mention that the main ways he got his assists were just through pick and rolls. You have other guys that are passing the ball like flashy passes, and I'm not saying flashy passes are what make you a good playmaker, but if you're just like doing pick and rolls, if you're just spamming the pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, and like he's scoring the ball, then yeah, you're gonna get the assists, but like you have guys like Magic or CP3 running the ball down and passing it to other teammates. So with that, I do say that he's a bit overrated about that. And even though it is impressive, yeah, when your teammate is like top 5 all time in scoring and you played with him for your entire career, yeah, you're gonna be pretty high in assists. And although I will say this, I believe Gary Payton said that the hardest player that he had to play against, like defensive wise, was John Stockton because Stockton was just very sneaky defensively, just stealing the ball at any time. And Gary
mm,
Payton is definitely one of the greatest point guards of all time, one of,
sure.
if not the greatest defensive point guard of all time. So if an all-time great is saying that about your defense, then you must have been a really good defender.
Yeah. And yeah, like Thomas said in the comments, I think he was maybe 6 foot flat,
Yeah.
doing that defensively. And that's something that you'll never see now.
Oh yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, so I'm assuming he didn't make your list then.
Hmm?
I'm assuming Stockton didn't make your 5.
No, he's not in my top 5.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense then. That's why you got Kid on there. Okay. Ours might be pretty much the same now.
Yeah.
So,
My
swing it back to you.
yeah, my number 4, I got Oscar Robertson at my number 4.
Okay, okay.
I mean, triple doubles
Well,
before Westbrook. He was the original Mr. Triple Double. He has the championship in Milwaukee. He was just so dominant that I couldn't leave him off the list. You got the championship, you got the MVP, you got the triple doubles as well. Before
mm,
Westbrook, that was what he was known for. Before Westbrook, the only player to average a triple double in the regular season. So I think like he checks off the box scores. Not to mention multiple All Star appearances as well. So yeah, I gotta put him at number 4.
yeah, no, definitely Oscars in that top 5. I damn. Okay, so you don't have one of the people that I'm thinking of, which is
Most
very interesting. But yeah, no, I gotta agree with everything you just said. Oscar was dominant. He was revolutionary. He was the only guy that size at that time in the NBA that was playing point guard, running it like that. And he was the triple double machine. He had the most of all time until Mr. Westbrook came along. Um, and yeah, I think he won one championship.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
With with Milwaukee. Um, and then it wasn't an MVP, I don't believe, but I think he had a season where he averaged
Yeah, he
like
won. He
25.
He did win an
He
MVP.
did
He's
one.
one.
He won one MVP.
Yeah, he won one MVP.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, can't disagree with that. He's definitely in my
Yeah,
top 5.
led the league in assists for multiple years as well.
Mhm. What's his points per game average?
For his career, points per game, 25 points per game for his entire career.
That's nuts.
That is
That's one of the best of all time. Yeah.
especially for a player that played in like the 60s and the 70s, and he was crazy
Mhm.
efficient. Because when you think
Yeah.
about it, like league back in the day, it was just so fast paced that you would see guys averaging like 44, 43% from the field, and that was like normal because they played so fast. So you're gonna shoot the ball a lot. But for his career, Robertson shot 48% from the field,
Mm.
and he averaged about 18 shot attempts per game, 19 shot attempts. So he was shooting a lot, but he was making them shots too.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't know that. Okay, Oscar. Well, I'm glad I put him higher than four then, because he's not my number four. My number four, feel like you probably don't have this guy. And this might be the one. I have another guy that didn't win a championship. Steve Nash is my number four.
Oh, not on my list.
Yeah, you got Steve Nash
I
on there, huh?
forgot about Steve Nash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many options.
So many
It's
guys.
very yeah. It's so difficult to
Why
pick
he
a specific one. But who do I have? Steve Nash. Um, Steve Nash shot 44.5% from the 3-point line, like 92% from free throw, and like 47% from the field. He almost had 50-40-90 career.
That's
Like
true.
if
I
you have that
think
in a season,
he has a 50-40-90 season.
I'm sure he probably has many.
I believe he has a 50. I might, yeah, let me check. Because I
Yeah, we don't
believe,
talk about
yeah, he is a part of the 50-40-90 club, which is a very, very rare club to be a part of.
it. Hey, shout
Yeah,
out Malcolm Brogdon.
50-40-90 season.
He
And
must have.
oh, he has multiple actually.
Yeah,
I think he's the only guy to have multiple 50-40-90 seasons.
that sounds about right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So obviously he wasn't a top level scorer. In his era, he probably his prime. He's looking about 19 points a game. On those one seed Phoenix Suns teams that unfortunately never got to the finals. But regardless of his championships as a player, as a point guard, like for what a point guard does, he was everything, especially on the Suns and the Mavericks. Before he joined the Lakers and doing it out his 37-year-old body. Um, he was excellent. He averaged 12 assists multiple years. And then yeah, like 18, 19 points. It's a really good stat line, and there's a reason he's a two-time MVP at the end
yep.
of the day.
Even though,
So
even
yeah,
though,
I had to.
like Kobe, Shaq could have
Mhm.
those MVPs, but I think it's mainly because the Suns were just the best team in the league at that time.
Yeah,
Because I think in those years Kobe was averaging like 35 a game. Oh six, yeah, oh
36.
six,
Yeah,
like 35 a game. The season before that, Shaq could have won MVP. So, but for sure, Steve Nash, I do believe he is one of the best of all time. And I know he said one of his biggest regrets is not scoring the ball more because he was a really efficient scorer, but he just didn't shoot that much because
yeah.
like his play style was just pass the ball, pass first. But I think
It was.
honestly, if there's any point guard that could play today, Steve Nash is definitely on the top of that list of point guards that could play today. Because he even though he didn't shoot that much, he was crazy efficient. So definitely for sure he could have played today. He could have probably put up 25, maybe 11, 12 assists per game.
Sure. Yeah, there's that 7 seconds or less offense that they were running with D'Antoni. It's just like it wasn't a James Harden situation where he was isoing, he was he was swinging the rock straight away. He was doing the pick and roll. That was scoring quickly, so it was just getting the first open shot effectively. And normally,
Yeah.
Steve Nash being one of the best playmakers of all time, he was going to find someone apart from himself to hit that shot.
And that's basically what the Indiana Pacers are playing nowadays. They're basically playing
Without
that.
Halliburton. Yeah,
They're basically playing 7 seconds, passing the ball as fast as you can to try and find the open shot.
and I mean it's worked. Obviously, it worked for the Suns until the playoffs, and Pacers kind of could say the same thing, honestly. Yeah. So yeah, that's my number four, Steve Nash. If you had remembered him, would he be in your top five?
Yeah, most
Yeah.
likely. I would have probably put him at number 5, or I would have
Okay.
probably left him in honorable mentions because that
Yeah.
championship. Nah, I would have probably put him top 5. Stockton and the Jazz in the playoffs.
Uh,
That was that was like 97.
yeah, the 19-year-old Kobe Bryant, man.
Exactly. That was a young Kobe Bryant. Shaq is trying to fit in, but then when Shaq got dominant, oof,
They've come to what they won
I-
3 in a row, man.
they won 3 in a row. All right, let me
Yeah,
go to my 3. My number 3 is Isaiah Thomas. I'm going to put Isaiah Thomas at my number 3 because Isaiah Thomas, even though unfortunately his career was stopped due to injury, Isaiah Thomas, he definitely is one of the greatest of all time. Back to back championships with Detroit, great defender, even though his team is infamous for being very dirty. Great playmaker, great scorer. I think he's one of the, if not the only player to average 20 points while averaging like 12 to 14 assists per game, somewhere right there.
yeah.
I'm gonna look it up because
I think his prime was like 20 and 12. Yeah,
Isaiah Thomas was just insane. Yeah, there was one season where he averaged 20 points, 21 points, and 13.9 assists per game, and he played 81 games that season. He
yeah,
could have he could have won an MVP, but I feel like because like just the time that he was playing in, Jordan, Bird, you have all these great players, he couldn't win an MVP, but he got back to back championships as the best player on that team or the second best player on that team. Two-time NBA champion, five-time All NBA. He's an assist champ, led the league in assists one time, Finals MVP. I definitely have to put them. I definitely have to put them in top 3 because that Finals MVP, that just means you were the best player on the team, winning the championship.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. IT gets like he got the Dwayne Wade sort of treatment in the sense that he was obviously one of the best players in the league, MVP worthy, but Dwayne Wade got jumped in with Kobe, Duncan,
Yeah,
LeBron. So it was just going to be tough for him to win over one of them. And yeah,
definitely.
same thing happened with Isaiah, even though his team was one of the best in the league, he was going against Jordan. So what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but 21 and 14 is disgusting. That's like, oh, because I was looking at that and I was seeing who else has done that, like 20 and 12. I think it was like John Wall did one season, it was like 20 and like 11 point something, in his prime in Washington, but, and then obviously like Russell Westbrook, Oscar Robinson, but that's really, really good numbers. So I'm starting to question whether I should have put him on the list, honestly. But I mentioned him, so I think that's good enough.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and again, he's got 2 championships, so that elevates him to Finals MVPs.
No, only one. Because I think Joe Dumars won the first one.
Okay,
And yeah, 89 it was Joe Dumars, and then 1990
okay,
it was Isaiah Thomas.
yeah, that's a real valid argument. Yeah, but I was talking the other day with one of my boys, like we are talking about those teams, those bad boy Pistons, like that will never be replicated again
Oh, for sure.
in the NBA because obviously it's a lot stricter now
Oh
on that.
yeah.
But that is legacy. Like that's not going to be redone. It's not going to be forgotten. So yeah, I probably should have put I probably should have put Isaiah on there. But my number 3, we've already talked about him. Oscar Robertson was my number 3. Yeah, 25 points per game for a career is
Yeah.
one of the best of all time, and he's putting up triple doubles. He had the most in a season, most of all time. Just revolutionized that big point guard role, and then Magic Johnson came in and did that as well. So yeah, I think we've already talked enough about Oscar. I think so. We can move on. Number 2.
Oh, this is where it gets juicy. Number 2,
Yeah,
I have at number 2.
you
I
have.
have, I have Curry at number 2.
I know. All right, let's go.
I got Curry at number 2. I mean, yeah, you could say it. First unanimous MVP, even though it should have gone to LeBron, but somebody chose Melo for some odd reason. But first unanimous MVP, two-time MVP in general, 4 rings, finally got that Finals MVP after years of just criticism that he never got the Finals MVP. So there's that. All-time 3-point leading scorer. So there's that too. Multiple seasons of 40% from three plus on insane amount of attempts. But yeah, I got him at number two.
Not number one.
Or number one.
Yeah. Okay. I had Magic at two.
Yeah. I have Magic at one.
So obviously we don't really need to go into depth because obviously they're easily the best 2-point guards of all time.
Yeah.
Just whichever order you prefer. And I don't know, maybe that changes for you if Curry goes another few years at this level when he retires. But I have Steph Curry at one, primarily because I believe like longevity is like a big factor in these debates, and that's
Yeah.
why that's the main reason why I have LeBron over Jordan. If we're talking GOAT. So that's why I put Curry because he's I think 37 this year. He's been since he came into stardom. It's like what fourth, fifth season. He's been consistently excellent, and he's rarely injured. So that's what gave him the edge for me. Magic has I think the highest assist per games average of all
Yeah.
time.
I think it's 11
Um,
point.
yeah, disgusting. But again his prime was cut short for
Yeah.
unfortunate reasons. So despite being an insanely good player, I have him at number two, just because he didn't play as long as if you don't have that sustained prime that Curry did.
Yeah.
And again,
Thing is, Magic just has the accolades, man.
he
This
does.
has the accolades: 3-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, 5-time NBA champion.
Mm,
That that first NBA championship, the infamous Game 6 where he played
stats.
center. That
Yeah,
it's it's
but
it's it's also, it's in my opinion, like if you have like moments, insane moments, not just a play, but like if you have like memorable games that people are talking about, like the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, then I think that also elevates somebody in an all-time ranking because yeah, you can have the stats, yeah, you can have the accolades and all, but if people aren't remembering you from how you played, then there's no point because like literally probably the most famous era for the Lakers, the Showtime Lakers. Besides the three-peat, that's probably the most famous and well-known Lakers roster because mainly because of Magic, just because of how great of a playmaker he was. Even though yeah, his prime was cut short due to his off-the-court issues, but I think just the things that he did in his prime, just how dominant he was, 6'9" point guard, I think he deserves to be number one in my opinion. But Curry and Magic, it's like a 1A 1B type of thing.
yeah, yeah, couldn't agree more. Obviously, I have it the other way around, but like that's a perfect argument for Magic. That Showtime era is another iconic one, like the Bad Boy Pistons. But yeah,
Yeah,
that guy, yeah, Magic's always going to be remembered. Steph's done the same. Obviously, he's revolutionized basketball himself with his 3-point shooting. That's obviously a huge factor now in today's NBA. So again, yeah, I'm not mad. It could have easily gone either way. But that's the top five of the point guards. I went Stockton, Nash, Big O, Magic, Curry. Then you
yeah.
had
He is Jason Kidd, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry, and Magic Johnson.
again. I like it. I like it. That's a good start. We have talked way too much. We're already at 25. So
Wow.
let's we'll keep the reviews a little shorter.
All right, shooting guards. You want to start
Onto,
with honorable mentions for shooting guards?
yeah, we can do that. Let me just pull it up if I can find it. Cool. Okay, so we're talking about Jerry West earlier, where he's a point guard, shooting guard. I put him in a two guard. He's not on my top five. So honorable mention goes to Jerry West, Tracy McGrady, and Ray Allen were my three honorable mentions. Ray Allen, underrated player all time because obviously a lot of people know him for his Boston years. He's a
Definitely.
3 point guy. That in Milwaukee, Ray Allen was a dog. He was dunking everything. He was
Oh
putting
yeah,
up 24, 25 points per game, multiple years, and he took on that third. He took on that third, like person on the team when he joined Boston. Um, so he wasn't, and that's what he's remembered for. Unfortunately, that championship. So
yeah.
obviously, he got one with Miami too, a couple of years down the line. But yeah, Ray Allen doesn't get, I don't think, the all-time respect he deserves. Reggie Miller should also be a shout out on that honorable mention list. But yeah, you go.
Okay. For my honorable mentions, I have Clyde Drexler,
Oh
Reggie Miller,
shit.
definitely Reggie Miller. Um, I'm gonna this one. I'm gonna put Clay. I'm definitely gonna put Clay, and this one is gonna be a stretch. And actually, let me give an underrated one. Joe Dumars, I did mention earlier, one time
Yeah.
Finals MVP as well. But this one is gonna be a huge stretch. But I'm gonna put Ginobili up there. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I don't hate it.
greatest six man of all time, in my opinion. I'm putting Ginobili up there because he did contribute a lot to those Spurs teams.
Definitely. No. I mean, he ain't on the list, so it's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we can give Ginobili some love, man. Yeah, especially what he did in international basketball. But
yeah,
yeah, obviously we named us off NBA. But no, that's a good shout. I forgot about him. I forgot about Joe Dumars. Um, but yeah, we'll move into the five. So number five, I have Allen Iverson.
mm,
Iverson, I was really debating between him and Jerry West mainly, because Jerry West numbers are disgusting. I went with Allen Iverson. Obviously, he did more. It was more than basketball with AI. He could
yeah,
really just change the culture. Not just in Philly, but just like in basketball. He made it okay. He made it cool to have sleeves. Tatted up, get the
yeah,
braids, all that. Really impacted the culture and like the younger generation coming up. They wanted to be. It was want to be like Mike, and it's like you kind of want to. It was you want to be like AI because
yeah.
yeah, it was just his influence that he had. And on top of that, he was disgusting at basketball.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
that 2001 finals appearance he made, that team was so bad
They had no business being in the finals.
at all.
They
And he willed them to a game one win. I think he had like 40
was
that
it?
game, stepped over Tyronn Lue.
What series was it? I think it was the conference finals where they went to Game 7 against. Who they wasn't in Milwaukee? They played,
It was
and
Milwaukee, yeah.
I think in the conference finals they went to 7 games, and it was like a close. It was close. They really had no business being there, but Iverson definitely picked them up, and he definitely is on my list. But
Yeah.
he's a bit higher on my list.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, for my number five, I have James Harden at my number five.
Okay, okay.
And even though I dislike current James Harden, but when he was in Houston, oh man, it was just nuts. It
Yeah,
was 3 years in a row scoring champ, top three scoring champ. And if you check my article, he's on my top five greatest scorers of all time as well. But scoring champ, MVP, even though yeah he didn't make it all the way to the finals while in his prime, he made it to the finals while coming off the bench for OKC, and he's not the best playoff performer, which is a reason why he's lower on this list. I think he definitely should be on this list because for sure, like in his prime, he was nasty. That 2019 season, I remember that streak he was going on, scoring 30 points per game, scoring 30
yeah,
points or more. That was an insane streak. And when that streak ended, I was like, no way it ended. Because like, he was just getting 30. every single night.
And I think it ended when he got like 29.
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, James Harden is definitely definitely on my list. I have him next at 4.
Iverson is my
Um, okay, so we just switched him. Alright, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, James
Iverson.
Harden, man, James Harden prime. He averaged 36 points per game, and I think maybe it was that 2019 season, or 2018. I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he was actually unguardable. Like step back freeze. If he
yeah. The
didn't,
one
if he
on
didn't bite, he was going to shoot that joint. You
the
know,
floor.
if he did bite, drive right past, lob to Clint Capella. Come on, man.
His foul baiting, I'm not even gonna lie, that was annoying. The way he would either like just flop from the step back, even though like that was really unguardable, or like
Yeah,
when he would drive to like hook his arm. He was the main reason why the league changed like the rules for the foul baiting,
it's
even
true.
though there's still a lot of foul baiting out there. It's not as easy as it was like back in like 2019 because
It's-
James Harden would just abuse it. And I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But dang, he would attempt a lot of free throws, like
he
10,
was abusing
10.
the free throws.
But he still is definitely one of the greatest scorers of all time, and he is my top. He is in my number five, and then you already talked about Iverson at number four for me. But I think our top three would most likely be the same.
It should be the same.
I think our top three. My number three is Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, yeah.
Wade, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Heat fan, greatest Heat player of all time. Definitely greatest Heat player of all time. Went crazy in the 2006 NBA Finals. He should have won MVP, but he was just in the worst position
yeah.
because so many great players out there winning MVPs over him. So Dwayne Wade, great defender before his injuries,
Facts.
incredible slasher. May not have been the best 3-point shooter, but not bad at the mid range. But he used to drive in that paint, and they called him Flash for a reason. Before
Yes,
those
sir.
injuries, he was called Flash for a reason.
Yeah, yeah. Can't say enough about Dwayne Wade. Unfortunately, he didn't win MVP again, as we mentioned. He was stuck in a logjam of talent in those late 2000s. I think it was 2009. You'll probably know
I
more
think,
better than me, but he averaged like 30 points per game.
yeah, but that
Yeah,
was the year. I think he got second or third place in 2009.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he does have a Finals MVP under his belt, so
He
I'd
does.
rather take I'd rather take a Finals MVP than a regular season MVP.
That's interesting. I don't know how many people would agree with that, but
On if you think about it, because Finals MVP, if you win Finals MVP, that means you were the best player on a championship team. And yeah, regular season MVP, but we've seen guys like James Harden, guys like Joel Embiid winning the regular season MVP and then being a complete no-show in the NBA playoffs. So then
it's
that's
true.
when everybody's like, "Oh, why did you win MVP?" Even though yeah, it's a regular season award, but it's like you win MVP, but you're now when it's the playoffs, you're supposed to be the best player in the league, and now you're not there. So
It's
I'm
true.
definitely taking a Finals MVP over a regular season MVP.
I mean, I'm saying like personally, I would rather have James Harden's career than Andre Iguodala's, but
That's valid.
you know, yeah, I mean, that's extreme,
I mean, when you
obviously.
think about when you make it like that, that's valid.
Yeah, I mean, it feels still like one of the best players in the league and win finals because obviously he was good, but he wasn't a top
Yeah,
25 player in the league, you know.
yeah,
So, and then I'm assuming we've got Jordan 1, Kobe 2.
yeah.
Uh,
There's no explanation.
yeah,
You we all know why they
well,
should
yeah,
be. It's not even 1 and 2. It's literally just 1A, 1B. It's 1A, 1B for them because it's their games are just so similar and their careers are almost identical that it would be an insult to say Kobe's two, or it would be an insult to say Jordan is two.
right.
They're just like that close to each other, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan is like definitely better.
Definitely for sure.
Um, but yeah, Kobe's not.
But
Like
they're
Kobe's clearly right next to him.
yeah,
and obviously his the reputation Kobe has as a basketball player has changed since the tragedy. But a lot of people started rating him too highly, and then it caused a lot of things. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's undeniably a top two shooting guard of all time. 5 chips, only one MVP, which again he's another guy was in that late 2000s mix that could have won a couple more easily. One of those Steve Nash years maybe,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah,
And then
easily those
Jordan,
guys.
10-time scoring champion, MVP 5 times, 6-time NBA champion, 6-time Finals MVP. We all know.
Yeah, no, yeah, don't really need to say none about Jordan, the second best player of
I,
all time.
every time I mention the GOAT debate, I hear it every time. My my podcast, Instagram. Oh Lord. And when I say LeBron is the GOAT and I just see the comments of everybody just talking about Jordan, it's the same thing. It's the
Yeah,
same 10-time scoring champion, DPOY, LeBron's 2011 meltdown. We're not even going to get into the GOAT debate. Everybody has to be there for the GOAT debate.
yeah, facts. We need a full hour-long discussion on that.
Definitely. All right. Let's go to small forwards now.
So,
All right. So for my honorable mentions for small forwards, I have Dominic Wilkins. I have
hmm
Elgin Baylor.
hmm
I'm gonna have Kawhi Leonard up there in my honorable mentions.
yep,
Very, very close to being top five in my opinion. Very close, but he's gonna be on my honorable mentions. Melo for sure, top in my honorable mentions. And ooh, I think that's it.
that's
Actually,
it.
actually, I'm gonna give another underrated guy, Adrian Dantley. I'm gonna give
Okay,
another
Adrian Dantley.
Adrian Dantley. That is a name that I haven't heard in so long,
Yeah, that's a name drop, bro.
but that guy was a really really good scorer.
Yeah, I think he averaged like 30 multiple seasons as well on those very average Utah teams.
Yeah.
I had the same honorable mentions except Adrian Dantley, but then I also had John Havlicek
Mm.
as an honorable mention and James Worthy.
I literally was thinking about James Worthy, but his name wasn't popping up. And
Yeah,
then and then as soon as I finished with Adrian, then I'm like, oh my god, James Worthy. I forgot about him. Finals
he's-
MVP. Oh dang. Yeah, I forgot about James Worthy for sure.
that's crazy.
Oh my
Well, be video to me.
wow.
That's preying on the downfall, man.
Wow.
Just preying on it. Okay.
That's
Who
all
you got
right.
a number? Who you got a number five, bro?
Five, I have Julius Irving at number five.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. J. And I don't know if I want to put ABA stats with there, but I'm gonna put it because that was his prime. When he came to the NBA, he was more like at the back end of his prime. But when he was in the ABA, he definitely was the best basketball player out there. You could
hmm
argue that he was the best basketball player out there in the ABA. And Jordan looked up to Julius Irving. So you could say Julius Irving was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan because this man was a high flyer. This man, he basically, you could say he revolutionized the game because you never really saw anybody high flying like that back in the 60s and the 70s. But when Julius Irving came, he had that swagger. He was like in my opinion, like an early pioneer of just like having just like style, like when
Just
playing,
athleticism.
having that like street aspect of basketball. That infamous layup when he took the ball all the way from under the basket. That beautiful
Disgusting.
hoop layup. Two championships. Yeah, two championships in the ABA actually. A championship with Philly, 5-time All NBA, 4-time MVP, 7-time All NBA. Oh, 5-time All ABA. My bad. 5-time
Like,
All ABA, 7-time All NBA, two championships with the ABA. So, the ABA was the competitor, but then they merged together. So, I think you should put ABA stat lines with the NBA stat lines because if they merge together, then the ABA history is a part of the NBA history, and that
Sure.
was Julius Erving's prime. That was his prime. Definitely could argue that he was the best player on the planet while in his prime. So I say
Mm.
Julius Erving, yeah, he's my number five.
Yeah. Well said. Here's my number five too. Um, I, I bet we have the same exact list, honestly. um, but yeah, Julius Irving. Yeah, don't really need to say anything more than that. Just yeah, like pioneered just that athleticism. Um, just taking off from the free throw line. You know, all that. You know, that's when Dominique, Jordan, all those guys came in and started doing that too. And yeah,
All about,
Dr. J. What was that?
it's all about the moments that
And
led
he's
them
he's
to
got the moments.
the moments
So,
to elevate you for sure.
so who you got it for?
Oh, Julius Erving is your five too?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow. My number four, I got Pippen at number four.
yeah. We got the same list, bro.
Who's your number three?
Actually, we might have different twos and threes.
Maybe. Yeah, Pippen is my number four. Six-time champion, Hall of Famer. Definitely one of the best defenders to not win Defensive Player of the Year. And even though Jordan fans don't like to talk about it, I'm sorry to say, but when Jordan left, Pippen was holding it down in Chicago.
Facts.
Pippen was almost an MVP. I think it was top five in MVP voting in 94. I believe it was like 94. He was almost an MVP. So he was holding it down in Chicago while Jordan was gone, even though they didn't win a championship. But
Yeah,
he was definitely one of the best players in the league, in even when Jordan was gone.
yeah.
We
Just
see,
yeah, ultimate sidekick.
yeah,
Um,
94. He
yeah,
was 94. He was third place in MVP voting.
his third place. Damn. What
Yeah,
was the Bulls record?
the
Is it
Bulls
on there?
record in 94. Let me see, 93, 94. Let me see. Chicago. They were 55 and 27.
Damn. Okay.
They was-
Yeah,
and he was holding it down for
I
50.
know. I know that actually.
They
But
were a
yeah,
51 team.
yeah. Scotty was probably the best two-way player outside of Michael Jordan in the '90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had to be on the list. Obviously, he's got the six rings as well. Um, multiple time All Star, multiple time All NBA. So yeah,
Greatest second of all time.
yes, yeah, exactly. Uh, so three and two is really the only interesting
Yeah. My
ones.
my number three, I have Kevin Durant at number three.
I have given the at number three.
That's great. So I'm guessing you have Bird at number two and then LeBron
Yeah,
at one. Yeah. All right. All right. I honestly wasn't expecting our list to be that similar.
yeah, that's
But
crazy.
I mean, might as well Kevin Durant, four-time scoring champion, one-time MVP, two-time champion, even though those championships don't count. Too easy. I don't care what
That's
anybody says. 14-time All-Star, part of the 75th anniversary team. So definitely one of the greatest scorers of all time, in my opinion. He's the second greatest scorer of all time. But if we're talking about like pure skill of how they score the basketball out of all players, Kevin Durant definitely is the most skillful scorer of all time because he can just score from anywhere, three, inside the paint, mid range,
Mhm.
just do it all, and just basically 7 feet tall with that long wingspan, very skinny, but still can. They don't call him the Slim Reaper for nothing.
Mm,
That's what I have to say. They don't call him, and even in his old age, even though after all of those injuries, I think I think it's him and Dominic Wilkins are the only players to really come back from like an Achilles injury. But out of all
yeah,
players that still dominate after an Achilles injury, Kevin Durant. is definitely like he's still at an all-star level even
Hmm.
after the injury, and that is insane because an Achilles injury is one of the worst injuries to have in sports. Besides a
Absolutely.
back injury and an ACL tear, the Achilles tear is probably the worst.
And he came back and he was even better. Honestly, he came back those Brooklyn years that they were in the second round when he was going against the Bucks by himself. Then James Harden wasn't doing nothing.
Game
You know,
six was that game six. That was an
put
insane
his
shot.
foot on the line, man.
If it was
Yeah,
one size smaller, man, Brooklyn could have Brooklyn would have won the championship if it was just one shoe size smaller.
it's crazy. So we've got
Larry Bird
like
at two.
Larry Bird at two, LeBron at one. This should come as no surprise.
Yeah,
Well,
Larry Bird.
LeBron at one at least. I feel like a
Also,
lot of people will put KD at two now and then switch him out with Bird, but
yeah,
um, Larry Bird's another one of those iconic guys. Obviously, him and Magic had their rivalry in the 80s.
he's
Um,
in my opinion, he's the second poster child of the '80s.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Poster child.
Yeah, he's legendary shit talking stories. We'll always put him above Kevin Durant for me, but yeah, that Larry
It,
Bird.
it's the way that he will tell you what he's doing. Go down the court. Like let's say he's going down the court. He's gonna tell you, I'm gonna go to the left corner, shoot a one-legged fadeaway. He goes to the left corner, shoots a one-legged fadeaway, and he makes it in your face. And there's literally nothing you can do about it. Probably he's definitely the
That's
greatest
not
trash
nice.
top three greatest trash talker of all time.
Easy, easy. Yeah,
And
and then
LeBron, there's no there's no explanation.
yeah,
Four-time MVP, four rings, four Finals MVPs, all-time leading
mm,
scorer.
mm.
They're gonna start seeing
Robbed
them.
of Defensive Player of the Year.
All right,
Yeah,
let's get to power forwards because dang.
yeah. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
from you want to go for your honorable mentions?
I'll do it real quick.
Uh,
Honorable mentions. Uh, I'll be honest. I I'll just put them on. My honorable mentions. Number six on this list would have been Charles Barkley,
mhm.
and then I've got Bob Pettit and Kevin McHale on the list as well.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah,
For my honorable mentions, I got Bob Pettit, Kevin McHale. This one is going to be a stretch. Two of these are going to be stretches. I got Pau Gasol and I got Dennis Rodman on my honorable mentions.
yeah,
And then John Stockton's teammate and his off the court issues got him off the list. As a player, he's one of the greatest of all time. But what he did off the court, I'm sorry, but no. Mm-mm. I'm
I
not. I'm
was. Yeah,
Yeah, if you know, you know. I'm not explaining it because I like to try and keep this PG as much as possible.
yeah,
So if you don't know, you can go look up what he did in I think 1982 or 83, just before he got drafted.
yeah. He was definitely keeping it PG first team, but
Yeah,
we'll keep it. We'll keep it pushing. I have him at five, just because that's the third time leading scorer of all time.
yeah,
So I put him on. I have nothing else to say about him.
yeah. My number five is Charles Barkley.
Yeah,
But he doesn't
I
have a
should.
championship. He does have that MVP. Definitely one of the best players in the '90s. Underrated. Honestly, Charles Barkley really is underrated because yeah, he doesn't have the championship, and you see him like on Inside the NBA, which is, in my opinion, is the greatest basketball late night
Yes,
show. It definitely
yes.
it's not even first take. I don't care what anybody says,
Hell
but
no.
I still would love to talk with Stephen A. Smith, so I hope that doesn't mess me up. But Charles Barkley definitely is one of the greatest power forwards of all time, one of the greatest players of all time. And this is one thing that is so insane. His rookie, this guy is like 6'5". like 6'5" or 6'6", playing power forward. And out of all of his years that he played in the NBA, the only year that he didn't average double digit rebounds was his rookie year.
Yeah,
Every other season, Charles Barkley has averaged double digit rebounds. And even in his rookie year, Barkley, I think he averaged like 9 rebounds a game in his rookie. No, he averaged 8. Yeah, he averaged 8 rebounds a game in his rookie year. Every other year, double digit rebounds. 11
yeah,
rebounds per game for his entire career. And this guy's 6'6",
yeah.
playing the power forward position. So yeah, he definitely should be up there. He deserves way more respect. And in his third season, he led the league in rebounds, 14.6 per game.
Disgusting. It's just Josh Hart on steroids and
Facts.
donuts. Yeah, yeah. That man used to just eat the most gluttonous meal before a game and then go out and drop 30 and 15. That man had like two full pizzas and a box of. I was reading some crazy thing.
Yeah, I think he said that before he was drafted because I think he said he didn't want to go to Philly. So like he was just eating so much to gain the weight so he doesn't go to Philly. He got drafted by Philly, and then Moses Malone told him that he's fat, he's weighing too much, so he had to lose weight.
That's
And
it.
when Charles Barkley was when he was in Philly, that man could run. He definitely could run because he was like 6'6", 250 or 240, I think, somewhere right there. When he
He was
lost,
athletic.
man, he was very athletic, and he was arguably the best player on the Dream Team during that run.
Yeah, true. Just performance wise, yeah. Because MJ wasn't doing nothing on that team.
Nope.
They don't want you to know that. We might have the same top four, probably slightly different order.
Yeah, probably.
I've got
Who?
Giannis at four.
Oh,
Okay, okay, okay. You don't have Giannis at four.
I got
Um,
Dirk at number 4.
I just want to know who you got it for.
I got Dirk at number 4.
Okay, yeah, I think Giannis obviously has the accolades
Yeah,
more than Dirk already at this stage in his career, but Dirk's championship is
yeah.
probably one of the best of all time.
That's what had me stuck because I was debating whether I'll put Dirk at 4 or 3,
Yeah,
and thinking about that 2011 run, I might switch him to 3. I might just switch him to 3, but that championship run, definitely the greatest shooting big man of all time. Well, there's Jokic, so Jokic is making a run right there, but I
mm.
still think the greatest shooting big man of all time.
Not
Definitely,
Carl Anthony Towns.
mm, nah, nah. He claimed it
Uh,
after the 3-point contest, but
yeah,
nah, it's still Dirk. In my eyes, it's still Dirk. One of
yeah, for sure.
the greatest shooting big men of all time. But maybe Carl Anthony Towns can catch up to him. Dirk does have that MVP, but that same MVP season, like I said, why I would rather win Finals MVP than regular season MVP.
Yeah,
That one
yeah,
season, booted out of the first round to the eighth seed, the Golden State Warriors. Not a fun time,
that's
but
tough.
that 2011 championship that
Mm.
erased everything.
And honestly, that team, like the Iverson Sixers, team had no business being in the finals
It's
either.
bad business, but Dirk carried them.
Derek and Jason Terry, even though Jason Terry was like pretty old at that point, but he was still nice. Okay, so you got Dirk four. I'm assuming you got Giannis three.
Nope, I have Kevin Garnett at 3.
Damn, you got Giannis in the top two.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
PG at
Dirk.
three.
Yeah, I have Kevin at number 3, and that's why I was debating. I was thinking, okay, yeah, the 2011 run is one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. But also, you just have KG, who also won an MVP, but also he's a great defender, and that's the way I look at it. Sometimes I think of like just both sides as well, because like yeah, Dirk definitely is one of the greatest offensive big men of all time, but on defense he was not one of the best on defense. But
Facts.
KG, he has the defensive player of the year. He definitely is one of the most versatile big men of all time, able
Mm,
to guard the perimeter, able to guard the interior. So that's the way I look at it. He has that championship in '08. He should have won Finals MVP, but it went to Paul Pierce. But for sure, I have to look at both sides. That's why Giannis is in my top two.
damn, yeah, fair enough, I guess. Yeah, so I had Dirk at 3. We've been over Dirk at KG at 2. So you have Giannis
Yeah,
at
Giannis
2?
at number two.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, the Finals MVP, the championship. That game's what was it? Game six. That game six performance where he put up 50 against the Phoenix Suns. Again,
Disgusting.
those moments, man. It's those moments, and just yeah, he doesn't even need to shoot the ball, and yet he's still able to average about 30 points, 11 rebounds, averaging 6 assists as a power forward. And he's not a bad playmaker. He's a really good playmaker
He's a really
for the
good game. Yeah.
eyes, and just the most dominant player in the league right now. And when Shaq knights you as the most dominant player of all time, well not all time, but as the most dominant player in the league at the moment, then you know for sure
You are that person. Yeah.
he's you're him because
Yeah.
Shaq is the most dominant player of all time.
Yeah. And then I had KG at 2. Um
Tim
so yeah,
Duncan.
we've already covered him.
Yeah, I got
CD at
Tim
1.
Duncan.
Tim Duncan number 1. Pretty easily in my opinion. 5 chips, 2 MVPs.
Yeah,
He was one of probably the greatest defensive player to never win Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah,
Him and KG are relatively close in that regard, but um, yeah, Tim Duncan, elite offensive, elite defensive, and he won 5 championships. Like that's pretty clear cut to
have
me.
been defeated in the finals. If it wasn't for 2013,
Mm-hmm. It's
2013
true.
is
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to sinners. We got not much time. We can go over an hour though. It's cool.
yeah. Center, center.
Because
That's in my opinion. I think centers is the hardest one because
I
there
was
was
gonna
just
say this is
and
probably the one we're gonna have the most discussion on because our
yeah,
list will surely be different this time.
crazy. But
So,
you can go with your honorable mentions.
other one, okay.
Yeah.
My first honorable mention, I have the most winning basketball player of all time,
Oh.
Bill Russell. Did not
Mm.
make my list, and I put David Robinson on there, Patrick Ewing, but they weren't really in consideration. Um, so yeah, that's all my.
My honorable mentions: Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. I have Moses Malone in my honorable
Mm,
mentions.
good show.
I have Dwight in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I'm gonna slide in Dikembe in there as well in the honorable mentions. Definitely one of the greatest interior defenders of all time.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it.
So neither of us said Jokic.
Oh my
So,
gosh, I forgot about Will. I forgot Will. Oh dang, I forgot Will. I'm gonna slide Will into honorable mentions because Bill Russell is my number five.
damn. Okay.
I
So
can't for the 11 rings, man. I cannot. I know it was the 60s and everybody does say those 18, but 11 rings, man. That's not happening ever again.
yeah,
That's
it's legendary. It's another iconic thing, like the birds, like the Isaiah Thomases that we've already talked about. But Russell, yeah, that's history that might not ever be repeated.
yeah,
Um, but I have beef with Bill Russell. Like I don't have beef with Bill Russell, but like the fact that he is like a lot of people have him as a top 2, top 3 center, and I can't go with that because he shot like 43% from the field.
yeah. Like I said earlier, just the time period. It was
Oh,
just
and I think he only averaged like 19 points per game
yeah.
in
He
his
wasn't he
prime.
wasn't a good player, but defensively, that's where he
Defensive
was.
dog. He averaged like 25 rebounds multiple seasons. Um, so he didn't make my list, and I've Wilt at number 5.
Mm,
Averaged 50 a game in the 62 season, and didn't win MVP because Bill Russell did,
yeah.
averaging 18 points, which is like, yeah, that's disgusting, personally.
The thing
But
is, Will, his problem is like when he was doing all of that, his team wasn't winning. That's the problem. So like now that just makes you look like like you're putting up empty stats basically.
mm,
You're averaging 50. Yeah, you're averaging 48 a game, 46, 47. You're averaging 35 a game with like 20 plus rebounds, but yet you're not winning. You're not like making it to the finals. You're getting booted out in the playoffs. But even when,
and then
although I will say he did get Bill Russell out of the playoffs one year. I forgot what year it was, but this was when he was back in Philly. He got he
mm,
got he got Bill Russell out of the playoffs.
yeah. And then obviously when he joined the Lakers, he won the chip with Jerry West, um, and I think he was a 5-time MVP, World Chamberlain.
I believe
So
so. Well, let me look, let me double check.
I might be confusing him with someone, but it was either maybe it was only a 2-time,
He's a 4-time MVP.
4-time MVP. Okay,
Four
so yeah, I had to put him on the list again. That's history. That's 50 points per game. He averaged 48.5 minutes. He averaged more minutes than there is minutes in a game.
exactly. Yeah, he definitely had the stamina.
Yeah, that man was benching 500 pounds. He was
Uh,
fast as yeah.
supposedly had a 48-inch vert.
That
Supposedly
man
stuff.
slept with 20,000 women, bro.
Yeah,
Instantly top
he, he, uh,
5. Instantly.
that's why
That's
he's a
great.
that's why he's the man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now
He got 4.
this is gonna get a lot of talking. But my fourth greatest center of all time, I got Nikola Jokic at number 4. I got Jokic at number 4. Yep. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. The reason why I have Jokic at number 4, that man destroyed my Miami Heat in 2023. But it's not even just that. That man humiliated Gold James in 2023 this
Yeah.
year. Maybe Jamal Murray this year, but damn, I'm not gonna lie. After I saw the 2023 performance from Jokic, I was really considering this man really has to be probably top 4, 3-time MVP. Not many players have won that many MVPs, 3-time MVP. He has the championship, the finals MVP. This man really had one of the greatest playoff runs of all time in 2023. I have never seen somebody so offensively dominant ever in my life.
Yeah.
In just Jokic making every shot. It's like it was unbelievable. Like he's making these fadeaways over Anthony Davis, who should have won Defensive Player of the Year, but he's making these shots over Anthony Davis. He's making these shots over like just double teamed, and he's making these post hooks. So that's the main reason why. Not to mention like his greatest skill, his passing, his court vision, the greatest passing center of all time. He literally has the highest the highest assist per game average for all centers, and he's like I think he's top 5 in triple doubles. But
Yeah.
out of everybody in the top 25, Jokic has the least amount of games played.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
so that's the main reason why I have Jokic at number 4, because it's like his skill is just unmatched. I don't think there's gonna be a center as skilled as Jokic, but maybe Wemby might get there.
He good. No, I didn't, facepalm because that was a bad pick, as I also have him at 4.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is
We're locked in today, bro.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you just said everything. Those shots he was making against the Lakers, I know LeBron and Anthony Davis have nightmares of Jokic in the playoffs. I think that's 3 straight years they got bounced by them in the playoffs, and um, yeah, against Miami in the finals last year. Like he made Bam look like a child. It was
exactly.
disgusting.
I was so pissed because I was just like, this is why we need a center on the team.
Yes,
There's
you
no
need
way.
Bam to play the 4, bro.
I know Bam is a great defender, but this guy is like 6'9",
Yeah,
and Jokic is 7 feet tall, and
yeah,
he's
bro.
just shooting these posters over Bam. It's just like, bro, please get it. But we finally got a center, Khalil Ware. I don't
Yep,
expect him that good, but he's gonna. I think he's gonna be great for Miami. Thank God. Oh, but oh my God,
don't
Jokic,
expect them to guard Jokic.
that 2023 performance is really what shot him up that list.
Yeah,
That my opinion. That's what really shot him up because that was definitely one of the greatest. And he's still a great playoff performer as well. It's just that 2023 was just so good. He
yeah,
scored his career high in playoff points. He scored 53 against the Suns. He still lost, but he put up 53 on crazy efficiency.
yeah,
It's
yeah. Okay, this is where it gets interesting.
who's your
I
number
mean,
three?
it already was but number 3.
My
What
number
do you got?
three. I got Shaq at number three.
My God, man! Yes, I have Shaq at 3.
No way! No way you got Shaq at three. That is crazy.
This is
Yes.
we didn't this is scripted.
This is not scripted. I did not review my list. I made my list last week.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, Shaq number three, the most dominant player of all time. He definitely should have won more MVPs. If he stayed in shape, the Lakers could have won more championships, in my opinion. But just what he did in those very little years of his prime are just, I don't think it'll ever be matched.
I
They're
mean,
just,
this is like a massive like difference in physicality to compare to
yeah,
everyone else in the league is
the pure strength that he had.
yeah
I think
unmatchable. And
I think Shaq definitely is the strongest player to ever play basketball.
I
I,
would hope so.
I think so. Cause man, what you gotta watch. I think inside the NBA, they reacted to this one little video where they were trying to where like these guys were trying to break a backboard, basically similar to what Shaq did. And then I don't remember the exact measurements, but you needed you would need thousands and thousands of pounds of force to break like a 90s backboard.
Yeah,
Shaq didn't even break it. He brung the whole thing down.
he put the whole he put the whole thing down,
And,
bro,
and, and that was
multiple
when he was
times.
in Orlando. He was skinny in Orlando. So that
Facts.
just explains how strong he is. They had to change the backboard because of how strong he is. And just when he was on the Lakers, oh my goodness, just pure dominance in
Yeah.
the league. Literally have a term for him, hack a Shack, because he was so bad at free throws. But that's the
Uh,
best you
if
had.
if he could shoot free throws, he'd be a top 5 player of all time.
If he was able to shoot free throws and if he stayed in shape, he definitely could have been top five all time.
He might be the goat if he could shoot free throws, man. And like yeah, didn't go to Miami and just become slow and unathletic. Even though he was great in Miami for those few years, um,
Yeah,
with D Wade, obviously when they
he
won
was,
the chip. But
he
yeah,
was still,
after
still an all, he was still an
yeah,
all star player. Even when he was in Phoenix, he was still an all star player.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So who's your
Uh,
number?
this is if we have the same top 2 in order, I will be very surprised.
Who's your number two?
Kareem is my number 2.
Kareem is your number two.
Ah, yes, finally,
Kareem is
yes.
your two.
Number 2,
Damn,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and this is
damn.
my
I got
hottest take that I will stand on in NBA shit.
I got
Like I will always
I
stand on this.
I gotta hear this.
Yeah, look, obviously Kareem is a six-time champion and a five-time MVP. Is that right, or is it the other way
Six
around?
six time MVP.
Six-time MVP, five-time champion.
Yeah, yeah, he has the most
Yeah,
MVPs.
second
Six time
greatest
MVPs.
scorer. Yeah,
Yeah.
second most points all time, just got passed up by LeBron, obviously. But he ain't better than Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Kareem
you
was
not
also a
you
great defender too, but
not wrong. You're not wrong. But just the pure accolades that Kareem has.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why that in my opinion, Kareem definitely is a top three player all time. But that's why I have him at number one and Hakeem at number two. But in my opinion, if we're talking based off of skill, Hakeem would be over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And
Hakeem,
that's my main argument for it. It's like
yeah,
obviously Kareem has the accolades over him, but when it comes to mid to late '80s to the '90s, it was all Jordan. Jordan was the best player in the decade in the league, but Hakeem. No one talks about how close Hakeem was to that. There was no one else that was near that type of production. He's the leading shot blocker of all time,
all time.
my greatest defensive player of all time.
I think so too. I think he's the greatest defender of all time.
He's got the dream shake, which is his iconic move, and it worked every single time. And man,
Greatest.
as soon as Jordan left the league, he was clearly the best player in the league as he
This when
won his two
Hakeem
championships.
averaged 4.6 blocks per game in one season. And most people might think, oh, well, he didn't play that many. No, he played all 82 games.
Yep.
He averaged 4.6 blocks while playing all 82 games. Another season, he averaged 4.2 blocks per game, and he played all 82 games. One of the greatest players of all time, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, as well as a championship that same year. Some of the
Yeah.
most dominant NBA playoff performances, some of the most dominant finals performances. Hakeem, he is my number two, but I can see why you have him at number one because he for sure is one of the most skilled players of all time for a center, especially, and he greatest post scorer of all time. I don't think there'll ever be a post scorer as good as Hakeem because you have the iconic clip of him making David Robinson jump multiple times from the Dream Shake. And that was the same year that David Robinson won MVP as well. So he just
Um,
dominated the league MVP in the
yeah.
playoffs that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to put Kareem just a little above Hakeem, mainly because of just the accolades that he has and just
Yeah.
all the career milestones that Kareem has. 38 years of being the league's top scorer until
Yeah.
Goat James came and broke it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I think 99% of NBA fans have Kareem as the best center of all time,
Yeah,
and that's like very valid take. I had him there for a while too, but Hakeem, he's just so versatile. Like,
yeah,
because his mid range was knocked down too. Like, if he played in today's NBA, he would get a 3 pointer because he was knocking down long mid range shots.
yeah.
And if he had adapted to now's game, he could do that. Again, greatest defensive player of all time. And Kareem was nice defensively too. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, again, you could go either way, and most people would go Kareem. But that's my hot take when it comes to all time standings is
Yeah.
is Hakeem. So wow, we went way over time,
It's
but that
insane.
was that was intense. That was fun.
That was
Um, yeah, but we had the damn near had the same list for everyone.
yeah. Honestly, if
Yeah,
the other guys were here, we would have probably been here for like 2 hours.
Yeah. I'd love to see Nolan's lists for this. But
Oh,
um,
that goat debate. We're gonna gang up on him.
yeah, that is gonna happen. I might just let him and Draven just debate for the whole hour and just watch, because that'll be
That,
hilarious.
oh no, put me in that debate too, because I will stand by
You
LeBron's side all day. I, I will,
Blazing is crazy already.
I will get my stat lines ready. I remember, and this is like super off topic, but for my speech class, back in it was like April for my final exam, we had a persuasion speech to make, and then my persuasion speech was literally why LeBron is the GOAT. I literally did a persuasion speech of what I had my LeBron Heat jersey on and everything. I went for like
That is
I
blazing
went
like
for
a
6 minutes just talking about why LeBron is the GOAT. I went for 6 minutes straight. I had a recording, but yes, it's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram.
Oh
I,
my
I, I cut
god.
I cut it into multiple clips too. I think it's some. I don't know if I took it down or if I archived it, but I believe it used to be on my Instagram. Yeah, it's still up there. It's still on my Instagram.
Bro, that is cash nasty level LeBron glazing, bro.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I was not playing.
yeah, I can I can see. Anyway, we gotta end this. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, be sure to follow Stadium Rant on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, all
For
social media
sure.
platforms. We've got Dovensky and me dropping articles on the NBA, NFL contents out there. You got the hockey, the soccer, the Olympics. It's just wrapped up. But everything's out there. Stadium Rant dedicated to bringing you the best sports stories. We'll be back next week at 7:30 on Friday. So we'll see you there. Peace.
Yep.